Welcome to Financial Discretion Advised. I'm Abrin Berkemeyer.
I'm Tyler Hafford. Let's cue the music.
Welcome, everybody. Thanks for joining us on this holiday edition of Financial Discretion Advised. Happy 4th of July, and hope everybody has a good long weekend coming up.
Yeah, happy birthday, America. We get to celebrate it with Mondays off and hot dogs.
Lots of hot dogs. I was looking up stats on the 4th of July, and it was we Americans consume a disgusting amount of hot dogs.
Really? Like we Americans or
July.
you Americans?
I will not disclose if I've been in a hot dog eating contest or not before in my life. People can scour the internet for that. But yeah, really celebrating the commemoration of the Declaration of Independence.
Yeah. 1776. We said, all right, England, we're out.
Yeah.
We're not doing this anymore.
Can you imagine just like the sheer audacity and bravery of these guys to sign this thing, to go up against like the world's superpower of the 1700s?
Just, I'm done with it. Yeah. You know what? Screw it.
Like it's like almost like writing your name on like a death wish back then, you know?
Yep.
It's absolutely
nuts. And I'm pretty happy they did it.
Oh yeah. Very happy they did it. Love freedom.
Love
hot
liberty. Dogs. Yeah.
Love hot dogs.
Yeah, this is gonna be good. It, obviously independence was so important to these people that they were willing to throw everything away for.
Oh yeah, like I said, it was literally like life or death.
Right. You know? Just throw absolutely everything away. And I look at like where we are right now in today's society, and I wonder, would we be able to do it again? Like, do we have that in us?
Right,
but I think if we found, what is important about independence to us, it's something that's, so I think it's important. Abram, what is important about independence to you?
Well, first of all, it's one of those intangible things in life, right? It's not something that you can go out there and go to the grocery store and pick out 10 bushels of independence. It's one of those intangibles.
I'm sure you can get it on like Walmart or Amazon, though, right? They got everything.
I mean, they do sell everything.
Okay.
Maybe get independence on wholesale at Costco. Throw it back to last episode. But
get a good unit price on
it. But I think, one of the most important things with independence is just that you have the autonomy to make decisions for yourself.
Yeah.
And govern yourself. Obviously, that was the big thing, was that, the 13 colonies back then were being governed by King George III.
Yeah.
We kicked his butt in the Revolutionary War and, gained our independence, where essentially you had this guy creating all the rules, thousands of miles away over the sea, creating all these rules for these 13 colonies. And, they just were like fed up with it. And they said, we've told you all of our problems with your governance.
Yeah.
You haven't addressed any of them. You've continued to do things your own way. We have no autonomy.
Yeah.
And we don't get the say in the matters that we want. Things have just been neglected. So, we're gonna go our own way. We're gonna do our own thing.
Yeah.
And that's liberty that we all get to take advantage of today in American society. Is we get to be independent. We get to choose what type of lifestyle we live. We get to choose how much we want to save for retirement and how much we don't want to save for retirement, and make those decisions, and have the independence to, govern our own lives, whether it's socially or economically with our finances.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's great. I want to go back to the Revolutionary War. If anyone's keeping a scoreboard, it is USA 1, England 0.
Yeah.
And today, obviously, I have a great relationship with England. But, independence to me, I think, is important because when you remove over governance on people, you allow men and women to find what they're capable of, right? You've taken the limits off. And I think that's why we see such great things come out of this country, is because we've allowed people to hit their potential. Mm-hmm. And independence allows that, right? When we remove government from those things, great things happen. And we've seen it over and over and over again in this country, whether it is, the space race back when we're putting guys on the moon, if it is the internet, if it is just in our recent time, all the medical stuff that's coming out around the mm-hmm. pandemic, right? All of it's happening in the United States. And it is because we are allowing people to go out and achieve their potential.
Yeah. And if you've ever seen that show, How It's Made, and somebody made those machines that
Yeah.
are making all of those things,
Right.
right? Like how incredible is that? So, some entrepreneur, some innovator out
Just
there,
amazing.
you know.
And some of that comes with capitalism and a free economy and allowing people to go out and use money as this incentive to go and do great things for humanity. But I do think all across the globe there are people who are trying to get to this country to build a better life, and as long as that exists, I think we're doing something right. And I'm not saying the United States doesn't have flaws. Every country has flaws,
Right.
but
Every human has flaws.
Right. But the principles, I think, can build the most productive citizenship out there and allow people to really go out and be the best that they possibly can. Right. And whatever that means for them.
Yeah. And when it comes to investment management or financial planning, really a principles-based approach is really what you want.
Yeah.
Obviously every human has their opinion, but we want those opinions based on some foundation principles that are going to achieve and drive
and put in a setting that will give you the best possible outcome.
Right. And that's where I kind of want to like jump back to our first podcast episode ever.
Yeah.
And revisit that analogy of the butcher that you went through so well. So you want to just kind of rehash that for folks, because I think that's just the best encapsulation of why independence is key, whether it was the independence of founding our nation versus the independence that you want when you're looking to work with a financial advisor.
When you're working with someone, you do want the independence. You want someone who can be objective. You want someone who can take a look at everything that's going on and give you all the right information so you can, like I said, give yourself the best possibility for your best outcome. The butcher versus the dietitian, one of my favorite analogies, goes back to this idea of working with a fiduciary versus working someone who operates under the suitability standard. And we talked about this in the first episode, but anyone who can sell something for a commission falls more into that suitability standard, where if you're working with a CFP, if you're working with someone who's an RIA, who's not holding licensure to make a commission, you're working with a fiduciary. And the best way to think about this is that the suitability standard is making the argument that something is suitable for you so they can make that recommendation, right? This financial advisor you're working with can say, hey, it fits their situation, so it worked. A fiduciary on the other side has to pick the best option or make the argument that this is the best option for you, right? And act in your best interest. Go to a butcher, you walk in, you say, listen, I'm hungry for dinner. The butcher looks at you and says, listen, I got steaks, I got pork chops, I got filet over there. He's making this argument that you're hungry, you can eat this for dinner, I'm going to sell it to you, it's right here in the store. He's only going to offer you what's in his store. What he's never going to say to you is, hey, Abrin, your cholesterol is through the roof. You need to head out the door, walk down the street, hit the fish market and pick up some fish. He's never going to say that. He's only going to sell it to you what's in the store. The dietitian is going to look at you and say, Abrin, I think you need a little bit of steak, but you need some fish, you need some vegetables, you need to do all this. Your cholesterol is just crazy. We got to get this thing under control.
Everybody knows about my cholesterol. Jeez.
But what you don't want to find out is that the butcher, the fish monger, the person selling the vegetables is paying your dietitian to send you to all these different places to get it. You can go anywhere you want and get what you need, but you need the dietitian to be telling you, all right, this is what you need for the best outcome for you. The butcher is only going to sell you what's in the store. It's in his best interest, and he can make an argument that you're hungry and that this works for you. In this analogy, the butcher is working under the suitability standard. The fiduciary is working as a dietitian. So be very careful with who you're talking to, because it can always seem like the butcher is the dietitian. If you don't do your homework, you're going to want to know, all right, do you have incentive to sell me what's in this store? And if you do, I got to take a look at what you're recommending to me.
It's always good. It kind of also goes back to that old notion of trust but verify.
Right.
Like you might really, the butcher might be a great guy, great person to work with, but
maybe
like
he's taking a couple dietitian courses, right? Has a little bit of an idea,
right?
But if he's only stuck with what pays him, a kickback, or sells a steak in the store or whatever, that pay attention to it, because there's a big difference between the two.
Yeah. And there you can kind of clearly see the independence of the dietitian is going to drive a better result for you over the long run, not just, what's necessarily suitable for you. So, kind of to tie it back into our theme of the day for the holiday.
Yes.
Well,
I guess I should have said he had hot dogs in there.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Cut this. Let's do it all over again.
All right, take 34. But no, it's so true. It's just one of the clear ways that independence can drive clear benefits to the consumer and in the financial industry.
Right.
Which, hypothetically is also helping drive greater results over the long term and helping your financial outlook over time. So one of the other kind of big topics that comes up in planning work with clients is kind of this notion of financial independence.
Yep.
It's pretty big kind of area and topic within financial planning that seems to be making a lot more prevalence in society today, especially as folks hear about things like the FIRE movement. That's another one that folks can go out and Google. There's a nice little documentary on it that you can watch. It's pretty fun. Maybe it's not fun. It's probably not fun. I just enjoy it.
I'm not even
a financial advisor.
What is it?
Yeah, the FIRE movement is financial independence, retire early.
Gotcha.
So everything these days has got an acronym. So the FIRE movement kind of drives home that idea of that financial independence. And essentially it's like you hunker down for X amount of years so you can achieve your financial independence like early on.
Gotcha.
And that way you don't have to worry about it anymore. And you kind of have that freedom to go live your life. So kind of wanted to put the financial independence conversation in context of the Declaration of Independence. So, I pulled out that classic line that everybody knows, life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness.
Yep.
So life, obviously you want to go out and enjoy your life. We'll kind of loop that back into the pursuit of happiness, but really just everybody has the opportunity to live. But I think liberty is the other big one. Enjoying those freedoms, being free without oppressive restrictions.
Sure.
Obviously, financial burdens in one's life can feel like an oppressive restriction to some folks. It can be daunting.
Biggest thing,
financial independence really brings out that liberty in life to go ahead and do what you want, achieve your goals.
I know there's people listening to this podcast right now who have felt so restricted by their financial situation where it almost starts to affect mental health, right? It's all you can kind of focus on. You're losing sleep over it, all those types of things. Financial independence, whether you're doing it early in this FIRE method, or if you're just working towards this at some point in your life, does bring on kind of what you're going to go to here next is that pursuit of happiness, right?
Mm-hmm.
It allows you to not feel like you are constantly under pressure from just kind of your financial situation. So doing whatever you can to find your financial independence. Mm-hmm. I think is important. And I think that's, for everyone. What does that look like for you? What makes you feel like you can be the best version of you?
Yep. And whether you're trying to reach that financial independence early in life because you're trying to, hit it out of the ballpark and this is something you really don't want to worry about. So you want to get it done as soon as possible and you're willing to grind, you can do it.
Yeah.
But really, everybody achieves financial independence at some point because everybody hits retirement at some point. Right. And if you think about it, retirement is you have put yourself in this situation where you've built up this nest egg. And now you're going to spend down your assets for the rest of your life and you're completely independent. You're doing whatever you want in retirement, as long as it's within within a reasonable amount of goals. And that's what we do financial plans for, to make sure folks are going to be fully funded and be able to achieve that liberty they want in that retirement phase or earlier if they're going for, financial independence earlier on.
And I think this is an important kind of note for folks who have put off financial planning. Steps you can take now, wherever you are in the process, whether you're retiring tomorrow, or you're just starting out, there are always ways to improve your situation and improve that financial independence at the end, right? So if it's one of those things that you're like, I'm just going to do it tomorrow, pushing it off and continue to do that is only hurting you. Start today doing whatever it is, even if it's the smallest step to finding a way to get to your financial independence and what that should look like.
Right. And just like independence is an intangible asset that we love and behold today, that same kind of intangible asset that you get out of a financial plan, whether or not your situation is, you know, actually completely buttoned up, and any financial advisor that you go to is going to tell you like, look, you're doing great, you're knocking everything out of the water.
Yep.
Just getting that peace of mind, that objective third party opinion, that's one of the biggest advantages that folks get out of a financial plan. And it's such an intangible, it's like, it's kind of hard to explain to folks, but that kind of peace of mind that you get of knowing where you're at, having that third party objective opinion that's independent.
It's like anything in life that you go to make a decision, and in the back of your mind there's a little bit of doubt, right? There's just a little bit of, is this the right choice? And having another voice say, yeah, that is a good decision, or yes, this does look like you can kind of live off that in retirement,
right?
It gives you that just confirmation that this is good.
Right. It's like you're going out to buy a car that you've never owned before. Maybe it's a different brand. But if you just went into it and you've done some online searches, you've read some reviews about it, you might feel okay with your research. But what's really going to drive it home to you is if you meet another car owner, somebody else that bought the car a year ago, 2 years ago, just bought it. Yeah. And you get their review of how their experience has been, what they love, what they don't like about it. Yeah. That's going to go 10,000 times more farther. It's going to go 10,000 times more distant than if you.
It's going to go further down the road. See what I did there?
Further, yeah. I guess it is further.
Well,
it's going to go further than what you're able to find online. Just because you have that, the interpersonal connection, you really get to understand versus just some no face, no name online.
Yeah.
So, I think, and then the last line, obviously, pursuit of happiness. That one actually got into kind of an interesting philosophical debate online when I was prepping for today's podcast. Yeah, obviously, pursuit of happiness.
Wait. You prep for these things? Continue.
Every now and then I put together a show map. So that pursuit of happiness, obviously, what it sounds like is you're going out and chasing happiness, right? You're trying to find something that's going to make you happy.
Right.
Kind of the other kind of combating notion to it was it's not really chasing happiness. You're not really like searching after it. It's actually the process of practicing happiness. Like how are you happy in your day-to-day life? So, maybe practicing happiness in a financial independence realm is going to be understanding your budget, understanding your long-term outlook.
Yeah.
And then actively making decisions throughout your year that's going to help you achieve your goals down the line. That's what I would say is practicing your financial independence, and that's practicing your happiness, because you're making the decisions that are going to lead to the outcomes that you want, and that's going to make you happy and make you feel fulfilled.
Yep.
Whereas if you're kind of going it alone, not really sure what you're doing, you might be saying, hey, I'm saving away for retirement. I don't know if it's going to be enough, but I'm doing it because I know down the road you got to save, and that's going to make me happy down the line because I'm going to have some assets that I'm going to take for retirement, but you don't know if it's actually going to help you achieve your goals or not, if it's going to be enough or too little, too much.
Yep.
So really living that in the day to day, and that pursuit of happiness, actually practicing happiness, I think is probably the better definition. I really
like that. I really like that too. Because if you think about it, right, someone's like, oh, I need $2 million to retire. And then you get to $2 million and you're living with this doubt of, did I need more than $2 million? Or do I need more? Is this really what I need? Right. There's no happiness there. You're in this rat race to get there.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you get there, you're wondering if you need to get back on the highway and kind of race some more. Practicing it.
And it's different for everybody too.
Right.
The number is completely different. We've got, it just, obviously we work with clients all over the spectrum, and there's folks that are more than happy to go, like low cost travel. Maybe they just want to stick to domestic, and that's going to cut their travel budget compared to somebody that wants to do the international trips every year and, stay at nice high end hotels. Whereas there's other folks that are more than comfortable, purchasing an RV and having low cost travel for the rest of their retirement.
Right.
And it's a totally different situation. And that pursuit of happiness, you're going to need a different amount of money to fund each of those goals.
100%. Everyone's going to be different. How much you need, when to take your Social Security, your risk tolerance, all of that. Fun conversations around the water cooler. Everyone's is different. So getting a financial plan together and then doing the steps to get you there will make you feel good about it, because know you're taking the steps you need to get to the outcome that you want. It's not just this vague kind of thing out in the distance that you work your entire life to get to. So I agree. I think it is practicing those things. All right. I never had a budget before. I got one. I
Yeah.
know the money that's coming in and out. I'm not running up the credit cards anymore. That's a happiness checkbox there,
Mhm.
right? Wow, I really know nothing about investing. My portfolio is doing great. It's really taking advantage of the economic environment right now.
Mhm.
Check the box off on the happiness. These little things, and then they build on themselves, right? So if you start taking these steps today, and it may seem overwhelming, but you start getting little happiness wins over and over and over again, you may look back 5, 10 years down the road and feel just completely satisfied with, look at everything I've done. Look where I
Right.
came from. Look at what I started at.
Mhm.
So getting a roadmap, I think it's a great way, and start finding your happiness.
Right.
Practice it.
Yeah, practice it. And I think to tie it back into the context of the Declaration of Independence, we just went through our unalienable rights. And then, you know what the line is after that? Protected by government, right? So the government is supposed to be in place to protect our unalienable rights, life, liberty, pursuit of happiness. In terms of financial independence, what is a great way that you can have somebody protect your financial independence? Hire a financial advisor. Might sound self-serving, but a financial advisor is somebody looking, especially a fiduciary, is looking out on your behalf to do what's in your best interest. They can help you protect that financial independence that you're working towards. They help you stay on pace. Maybe you need that extra nudge where you kind of got lax with the budget. You haven't been keeping track of things, and that was a goal of yours to help you maintain your pursuit of happiness. And so financial advisor can help keep you accountable, and they help make sure the plan's on track. Markets obviously change. Financial advisor can tell you, hey, the market dipped, or if the market dips in retirement, this is what we're going to need to overcome that dip so that we can maintain the lifestyle you want in the future. It really is that, that financial advisor's whole job is to make sure that you're able to achieve what you want to achieve and keep it in, within make sure everything's reasonable,
right,
as far as the
within reason.
assumptions, and that that we're planning appropriately.
It may sound self-serving to say hire a financial advisor, mostly because you're listening to two financial advisors. If you're finding a fiduciary who has given up their ability to sell financial products for big kickbacks, they gave up their licensure to sell insurance products, who gave up all these extra ways to make money so they could do this job in a way they feel is correct and wholesome and
With
really
the
help
least
people
conflict of interest that you
get rid of
can-
the conflict of interest. They have to act in the best interest of the client. There's no one else paying them but the client. You're working with someone who really likes doing this, right? Who really wants to help people get to their goals, who really does want to help them protect their financial plans. So maybe it is self-serving, but I agree with you. I think it is the best way to find someone to help you in that pursuit of happiness. Get rid of that financial stress, that burden that's sitting out there. Get rid of it. And make sure that the person helping you is doing it for the right reasons. But if you do that, I think you're right. You're being protected by someone who cares about your life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness.
Yeah, definitely. I think that kind of brings us to the end. I just want to wish everybody a happy 4th of July. I hear there's going to be fireworks this year, so definitely get out and enjoy those.
I like
the
them.
weather.
I like them. Yeah, it's nice. Right, last year's 4th of July obviously a little muted because of what was going on with COVID. While we're not out of the woods yet, seems like things are getting to be a little closer to normal. So I hope everyone's going out, eating some hot dogs, watching the fireworks, having a great time. It's a fun little weekend.
Yeah,
so
it's a great holiday.
Yeah.
And you got any family traditions or anything that you do on the 4th each year?
We don't. We do the fireworks thing. My girls are young enough that it's still kind of fun and exciting for them, so I'm excited to watch them do it. It is traditionally very hot on the 4th of July. Anyone in the Northeast right now, even out west, knows that
it's getting pretty hot out there.
It's hot. So I'm hoping to spend some time in some water, a little bit of AC, and just kind of kick back and enjoy my Monday off.
Nice.
How about you?
Yeah, I mean, you sounded like only kids get to enjoy the fireworks, but I am definitely gonna enjoy the fireworks. I'm a big fan.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we get to do a little family get together. We'll do the whole barbecue, a lot of cornhole. So I'm very excited for some cornhole.
Yeah.
You know, it's 10% skill, 90% trash talk, and it's a good time with family. So cornhole is a big pastime
Nice.
for our 4th of July, and then probably go downtown, get a scoop of ice cream or something like that. All right, have a happy 4th, everyone.
See you guys.
The foregoing content reflects the opinions of Penobscot Financial Advisors and is subject to change at any time without notice. Content provided herein is for informational purposes only and should not be used or construed as investment advice or a recommendation regarding the purchase or sale of any security. There is no guarantee that the statements, opinions, or forecasts provided herein will prove to be correct. Thank you.